So the first question is Monica says to David that is their life and decisions are up to us. Is privacy and independence a right for all? For that one, I was gonna say yes, definitely. I think independence is really important for this couple, but they definitely do still need support just to do like their daily living tasks, but definitely like they deserve independence.
I agree with that. Like they know how to do everything on their own, but like sometimes like they won't be like the best at it, so they might need that like extra support like you said. But for the most part, I feel like they should have their own like privacy and independence.
Yeah, I agree. Just kind of only helping out when necessary, letting them do what they can do without help.
Yeah, I think it's almost a little old-fashioned to ask that question because it's like they're both people and they're fully functioning. And it's like, why would that basic human right not be granted to them?
Yeah.
So I agree.
Then the second question is Monica's mother and stepfather's concerns versus reality. What is a true concern and what is fear? They're definitely concerned about what is going to happen when they're not there. I know that they mentioned that they don't know what they're going to do when they die and basically who's going to take care of them and what's going to happen to them. I think that's like a valid concern, but also a fear because they are capable of taking care of themselves well enough and they're very intelligent and capable. But I noticed that they also said they feel fear that they can't give all the love that they feel like they are capable of giving. So I feel like that's more of a fear than yeah.
No, I was thinking the same thing. Like, I feel like I think it was Monica's mom was definitely like a lot more. She talked about it a lot more. Like she seemed way more concerned with them like wanting things and not being able to have them kind of, which I think was a fear for her mom, just like not knowing if Monica was like getting everything that she felt like she could, like having good enough life kind of thing.
Yeah, like it's probably just like they just like don't want them to go like move out. Like every parent feels that way. Like it's like your child, like you don't know what's gonna happen, like all that. So they're probably just worried.
And the next question is, what activities do you engage in without thinking that Monica and David have to learn and practice? So definitely a bunch of just like everyday activities that I don't even like think about that they have to put some more effort in. One thing was definitely like making the bed and them doing their laundry. They just didn't, they had to like take a lot of time to do that, but like I would do those things kind of not really thinking about it.
Yeah. I feel like socially there are a lot of things too, or I feel like Monica's mom was saying like they kind of just like do whatever will please people. So I think that when they do things socially, and like the textbook talked about this a little bit too, but like they kind of have to practice those skills. Whereas like I think when we're growing up, they just kind of start to come naturally because you have that experience built in. But it like takes more experience for them to be able to understand how to do things that are simple to us, like in the outside world.
Yeah, it's like all like the little simple things that we don't really like have to think about. They have to like step back and be okay, like go through the process and like think about it. Which like for us, it's just like, okay, like
Yeah, watching it made me realize like how privileged I am because I there's just some of the stuff I would never think about or even it's just so second nature to me. And it just like watching it brought in a completely new perspective that I've never thought about before.
The fourth question is, many of us pride ourselves on being unique individuals. In the film, Monica and David in different ways deny their relationship to the terms handicap and even Down syndrome. Why might they want to be seen as normal and reject these labels? I feel like it's very normal that they want to like not have these labels on them because they want to perceive themselves as capable and intelligent. And when they're labeled as with like Down syndrome, they're viewed as having more of a disorder, not just that they are capable and like loving and intelligent people.
Yeah. David was saying like, oh, I'm sorry, sorry, Daniela.
Go ahead.
And they're like the little like one-on-one thing that they did with the narrator or like director or whatever when he was like when the narrator was like, well, do you know what you have? And then David was like, yeah, I have Down syndrome. And then he like talked about what that means. And then the narrator said something like, well, like, how do you feel about it? And David was like, I feel happy. Like, I feel like I'm normal. I don't feel like I'm different all the time. So, yeah, I think it's important for them to feel like they're normal and they just need some extra help with certain things.
Yeah,
So, I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, like, no one really likes to have labels on them, and like, especially for them, like, they just want to like live their life, and like, if they see that people can like are judging them and stuff like that, ought to make them uncomfortable, and like, no one wants that.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think at the basis of their relationship, it's the same exact thing as any other relationship. Like their foundation is love and they hang out and they go on dates. And it's like, why would you need the like Down syndrome label is so unnecessary. It's like when sports teams in colleges call their girls' sports like Lady Vols. That's like just Tennessee,
Yeah.
for example. But it's just like such an unnecessary label that separates people. And excludes. Not that it's trying to, but it does.
That's a good example.
Okay, number 5 is what do you think about Monica and David's desire to have a baby, and what are your concerns about that? I said that I think it's really sweet and loving that they want to have a baby and it shows how full their hearts are. But I do have a concern about like how big of a responsibility it is, and that since they themselves still need support and are like fully independent, I think that taking care of a baby would also put a lot of responsibility on Monica's parents and stuff. So I think that it would just be definitely like a big decision, a hard one.
Yeah. It's definitely tough morally to like um I don't know, decide whether or not it's fair to like tell them that they can't or they can because you want to give them freedom. But they said in the documentary like they're they're still kids, so like it's hard to justify them being able to have their own.
Yeah, like they want to be independent and do all that, but like at the same time, it'll be like another like not worry, but like they're gonna need help with that, and then like you just never know.
Yeah, along the lines of what you said, it's a lot of responsibility to add on for people that already need some extra support themselves. So that's a tough situation. And I think it need to be thought through with like everybody involved. Not it wouldn't be a decision just between those two.
Yeah. Number 6 is do a quick internet search and determine what the literature says about individuals with Down syndrome having children. One of the things I found is that there's a risk of having another child with Down syndrome, and also some Down syndrome males are infertile, and parenthood is definitely a challenge. Some people also go against that and just say it's their body, it's their choice. And other people have said that it's difficult being a child whose parents both had Down syndrome and couldn't have a job and drive a car and couldn't understand math, homework, and those sorts of things. Basically saying that it would be hard for them to raise a child while they're still trying to find out how to fully support themselves.
Yeah, I saw the same stuff, just like a lot of things saying that it's kind of difficult for everybody involved. So it's hard to, like you said, do things that might seem simple for like us that we did with our parents, like math homework and stuff like that. It's a lot harder for them to figure out. So it makes it hard for the kid to like, I don't know, develop in the same way.
That was basically all that I saw too. Like It's just the rundown, so
Yeah, same, with like the percentages and stuff. And I guess that's just something where you gotta look at the data and see what like risk you want to take and decide that beforehand.
Number 7 is think about the parents' perspective and the stress that Monica's parents are taking on. How would you handle that? Definitely they have a lot of stress because they feel responsible for them both, and they don't also want to hold them back from being independent or making their own decisions. I don't know how I'd really handle this. Um, but I think I would just fear that the child would grow up and worry if it's the right thing or not, but definitely don't, yeah, this is hard.
No, I agree. It's hard to put yourself in a situation. Like, I don't know. All you can really do is like give them as much love and support as you can and kind of just and I feel like this isn't something people think about until it actually happens. So like seeing how Monica's parents like communicate with her and still treat her like really normally and like try to give her as much independence as they can. I feel like they're doing a pretty good job. I don't know.
yeah, like you don't really know until you're actually there. So like I can't really imagine that right now, but like once I'm in that situation, I'll probably be like, oh my God, like they like I wouldn't it would probably be a lot of stress on me, not gonna lie.
I think it'd be a lot of stress too. But I think like as the parents in that situation, you gotta think to yourself, like, you can only do, I mean, you want to do everything you can for your kid, but at some level, like they can be independent. So I guess giving them as much independence as possible would be my priority.
Yeah. Okay. No, and the last one is think about self-determination with regard to Monica and David. Where do you see them engaging in self-determination? Did a lot of stuff where they like went job searching. They also wanted kids. They wanted to get married, and they just were very passionate about one another and wanted to be independent in a lot of ways. So they were definitely determined in like all those aspects.
Yeah, I thought the biggest one was the marriage thing because they like made a point to say that it was their decision and not like something that their parents said or something.
And like going along with the marriage thing, like on the video it said that like most people don't necessarily get married all the time. So like for them to do that, that was like a big step in their lives.
I was thinking the same thing with the marriage thing, like that is a big step that you make by yourselves. So that and that a lot of people with Down syndrome don't get to. So that's great that they did that.